Hello.
Good evening. Hello.
All good?
Yes, all good.
All set for the first live exhibition.
Yeah,
Great.
I was having a hectic day. Like last 2 days was very hectic, setting up everything, arranging the photographs, all the descriptions, and a lot of things. But yeah,
It's what?
looks like it has came out well, very well, in fact.
Okay.
So let's see what are the feedback from our audience as well. Let's start with the uh,
Introduction.
introduction about Paws Trails.
Yeah.
Paws Trails is a collective collaboration of a group of dedicated nature lovers to bring humans closer to nature through the medium of photography and art. We have started this organization 6 years ago with our wildlife photography workshops to different locations, and then three other verticals added: the magazine, events, and education. We have done 33 online magazines, one international wildlife festival, 60 plus international workshops and lectures, 23 photography exhibitions, 1.5 million collective social media followers we have, and we have planted over 40,000 saplings across the world. We have 200 plus international contributors who support us with their photographs, artworks, videos, etc., and even articles to our magazines. We have also published two coffee table books. The first coffee table book was on the big cats from across the world. The name of the book is The Big Cat Trails. And the second coffee table book was more on the species based in Arabian Peninsula, and it's called The Arabian Trails. And this is our so far journey.
And
Now we have started with the new platform called Paws Tales. Nisha, do you want to talk more on Paws Tales?
the whole idea is about connecting people and creating a platform and spreading awareness. That's the whole idea behind all our activities, using photography as a tool to connect with people and to create a platform. So whatever little bit we can do within our ability to spread awareness, that's the whole concept. So this is our first online exhibition, and our plan is to do one a month to begin with, along with the online review. That is going to be the next step. So our guests are waiting, so let's start with one by one.
Yeah, let me
And
just.
we were planning to do it on alphabetical order, but there are few people who's lucky enough to be in a natural reserve. Yeah, so we need to give a little bit priority over there so that they can continue with their journey and begin with. Guch is there.
1 second. Which is still not here.
Oh, he's asking for the link. 1 second. So I think I'll send him again. So we'll
We'll
start
start
with
with Anurag.
okay, Aditi or Anurag, one of them. Hello.
1 second, let me add Anurag.
Hi, Anurag.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good. How's things?
Good, all good.
How's family?
Everyone's doing well, thankfully, in COVID times. What about you guys?
It's a tough time. It's been almost 6 months, but yeah, there is no other choice. We just have to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Just have to play safe. Yes. So, uh, let's begin with the first image. And Anurag, I'm just giving it to you. You can explain.
Sure. First of all, thank you for including me in the exhibition. Thank you for the opportunity, Hermis and Nisha. And I'd like to start by introducing myself. My name is Anurag Amin. I'm the education coordinator at the Miliha Archaeological Center. And I'm also a bird and wildlife photographer. So here's one of my images. This is a greater flamingo. And I'd like to tell you the story behind this image today. So about this image, this was clicked about almost 6 months ago in January at Al Qudra Lakes at sunrise. And there's quite a few factors that came together, quite a few favorable factors that came together to make this image. So first of all, starting with the location and its importance. So this part of the lake in particular runs from east to west, roughly from east to west. And the sunrise, depending on the season, depending on the axial tilt of the earth, is not always aligning with the length of the lake. But at some part of the year, for a limited time, the sunrise aligns exactly with the lake and lights up the entire lake with the rising of the sun. So this was at one such time. As you can see, the lake behind the flamingo is completely lit up by the rising sun, and the sun is in the optimal position. And the second factor is the lake is surrounded by golf trees. So the entire lake is surrounded by a bunch of golf trees. And the importance of this is the golf trees kind of diffuse the light. So even when the sun goes up about 5 to 10 degrees up up above the horizon, the light is still diffused. It creates almost something like a softbox effect. And as you can see, the water is lit up bright orange, and the flamingo, it has got somewhat of a rim light, as you can see on its neck. So that is a unique effect that was possible only because me, the bird, and the sun, you could say, were at the right place at the right time. And the third factor, obviously, is the willing bird itself. This particular flamingo was quite trusting, quite friendly, you could say almost. I had set up before the sun came up. I was on the ground at eye level with the bird. But even though I did all that, the bird was still aware of my presence, and the bird came quite close to me despite knowing I was there. And that ended up in this image of the bird. It almost, to summarize what the image looks like, it is almost like a private glimpse into the world of the bird. And you could say it almost looks like the bird is standing there planning out the rest of its day at first light. And through photography, what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to create a window into their world, which is accessible to people who are not yet very interested in nature. So people who don't know how beautiful nature is and how amazing and how addictive it can be, spending time in nature. This is kind of a reach out to them, so that anyone with the internet connection, anyone with a phone or a computer can look at this image and be inspired to go out and spend more time in nature. So I think it's best to quote Sir David Attenborough, who said, "We seldom protect what we don't care about, and we seldom care about something that we do not experience ourselves." So this is kind of a reach out to people who are not yet interested in nature, to get them interested and get them to do more about the environment and wildlife and everything else. So that's about it. Thank you.
That's a wonderful image.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Anurag.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we have our
Next candidate, and so
let me add. Hey, good.
Hi guys, how you doing?
So he is one of the
This,
person right now to be in a national reserve and right in Kenya.
Wow.
yeah.
Lucky you. I'm jealous.
That's in fact a visual treat for us.
How are you?
Just around somewhere was two male lions just seated half asleep, as the usual thing lions like to do. Yeah.
Yep. So that's Gurcharan, and he's an amazing, amazing photographer. And if you see his social media profile or his work, I don't have to talk much about it. So I'm giving the screen to him. Let him start with what he would like to share and to his spectacular image.
Oh, I've never used this one, so you're going to give me an image which I'll talk about, and
Yes.
let's see how it goes. Yeah?
Yeah.
We'll make it up as we go along while I enjoy this savannah.
Sure.
All right, here we go. Yeah. So 3 rhinos, photo taken at Solio Lodge at Solio Ranch in Laikipia, northern Kenya, and this was the first time I'd ever tried to use low level photography using by putting my camera down on the ground. So on this particular day, what I'd done is I'd taken my camera, I'd put it down onto the ground, I'd covered it up with the ghillie suit, and then I used one of the Nikon factory remotes, and we were using the factory remote to release the shutter. If any one of you who's used 2470 would understand that when you zoom a 2470, the lens actually, the inner part
Hello.
of the lens comes out. And for this cover, you can still hear me. Oh, am I back? I hope I'm back in the show.
Yes.
What had happened was I was using the dust cover on the front of the lens to make sure that the lens stays clean all the time. And in this case, when I put the lens cover back on, the rather than from so it pushed all the way to 55 millimeter, and I took the shots, and as soon as I'd finished, I came and I picked up the camera, only to realize that I'd got it at 55 millimeters rather than 24, thinking, oh my God, that's it, end of shot. And switched on the review, and this is the shot exactly as it was. The only edit I've done on it is obviously black and white and a slight horizon fix. It was slightly off horizon, and that was it. I was blown away by this lucky image. Yeah.
Definitely.
It is again one of my favorite from your collection.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, and also thank you for the massive introduction. I don't think I'm worthy of an introduction that large, but I really appreciate it.
So, in fact, I would like to make one more announcement. We will be having another session on next month with Gurch talking about his low-angle photography, just only him and his journey with this kind of photography. So once again, thank you so much on behalf of all our viewers and from our side.
Thank you, Gurch.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, now next we have Aditi is offline. We have Athira here.
Okay.
Wait, yeah, Aditi is here. Back once again.
Hi.
Hi. How are
Hi.
you guys?
Good. How are you?
How is you, Nisha? Thank you.
Good. So all set?
Yeah, pretty nervous, but yeah.
Fine. It's okay. We all are nervous, in fact. So let's start with your journey. A bit of introduction and about this particular photographer.
Okay. So, yeah, let me start from introducing myself. I'm Aditi Dinakar. I'm from Mysore originally, but I'm living currently in the US, East Coast. I'm a photographer, wedding and travel photographer. I do a lot of other types of photography like drone, macro, portrait, and other stuff. And also, I'm an artist.
That's great.
So talking about this image, this was shot when me and my husband were driving up North Iceland. We were driving towards the east, and it was, I think, in the afternoon probably. So I saw this mountain kind of abrupt peak kind of from far. And when we went near that, because Iceland is like kind of meadow, like they don't have trees, they don't have anything as such, so you can see miles away what is there in that. So I thought I'll fly a drone here, and then I got to know it was a volcanic crater because the peak was kind of abrupt, and I found these two craters there. I think you can also see a path over there, like you could actually
Yeah.
go.
Correct.
Yeah. So we didn't go, but it looked really good. I think this is a backlit image which I shot, and I could see the trees like broccoli crowns, and that the volcanic crater looked amazing in the aerial view. So drone view, what I usually do is I one second. So I try to capture nature in a different perspective, uh, like drones. Of course, the eye level view with camera is also good, but I started exploring more about aerial views, which looks pretty different because the aerial view which we don't usually see mostly in pictures. So I'm not saying like all aerial views are really good, but it's always about exploring new angles and new perspectives.
Exactly.
So in drone view, the whole perspective of nature changes. Like if you see from eye angle, it looks like a mountain. If you see from top view, it looks like a volcanic crater, which you can actually see what it is. So that was the idea behind this image.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah. So
Thank you so much for participating.
thank you so much for adding me in the group.
No, it's all about you people. It's all about
But
doing
yeah,
things together.
Okay then.
That's Aditi. You can check for her social media profile, and she has some spectacular travel imagery from across the world. And as she mentioned, she's an amazing artist too. So anybody who's interested in art and photography, please do get in touch with Aditi, and you can always find her in social.
thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Nisha. Thank you, Hermis. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
the
Thank you.
Athira,
Now, yeah, we have Athira waiting for us.
hi dear.
Hi.
How are you guys?
Good, good.
Good, good.
How are you?
How's it all going? Good. Good as can be during this time. Can't expect too much more.
It's true. So, Athira, once again, if I'm going to give an introduction, of course, I love her photography. And she's an amazing. There are a couple of other, she have a couple of other qualities. She's a good writer and amazing chef. She make awesome brownies. So, and a great food photographer too. So I'm giving it to you. The stage is all yours. Please start with your journey.
So first of all, I'd love to thank Nisha and Hermis both and the Paws Trails team for allowing me to have this opportunity to be able to showcase not only this image, but some of my other images in your exhibitions. It's been such an amazing treat getting to know you both as well. And to be honest, talking about this image, I think takes us back to 2018 November, where everything sort of started. So my first trip to Masai Mara was with the Paws Trails team, with both Nisha and Hermis. I met them at a bird photography exhibition that they were hosting in Dubai. And after that, once I met Nisha, she told me that she was running a trip to Masai Mara was just one space left. I was turning 25, and it was my dream to actually go somewhere and celebrate my birthday, possibly in the wild, and I got that opportunity. So I grew up in Southern Africa, and I'd actually visited multiple national parks, but I never had the opportunity to go to Masai Mara, which was why it was my dream to go there. And to be able to go there for a wildlife photography expedition is something that I can't even begin to explain how lucky I was, especially given how the pandemic has completely changed so many travel plans at this point in time.
True.
So going to the actual image, it was day 2 of the safari. We woke up super early, around 5:30 in the morning, and just went out. We had a beautiful morning photographing silhouettes of giraffes. Nisha was my mentor in the vehicle, and she said that there's some cheetahs, like they've heard that there's some cheetahs kind of roaming around, and we went to go and check that out. So what you don't see in this frame is that there's a mom and there's 2 other cheetah cubs actually in the area. There's one cheetah cub that we'd been sort of following along, just happened to hop onto the tree and took a look, like took a peek up, took a peek down, and immediately jumped back off. So this all happened within about 4 to 5 seconds. And I was very lucky to be able to photograph this image because it was the first time that I was using a Nikon D5 with a 400mm f2.8 lens. So I was still getting used to the camera. Obviously, my first time out in the wild, as a part of a wildlife photography expedition, I never expected to get such an image. I never expected to actually see such an encounter because it was the first time I was also seeing cheetahs. So overall, I would count this as a very lucky encounter, and it's a photo I hold very close to my heart as well. So thank you once again for giving me the opportunity to showcase this image and for teaching me all and more that I've learned about photography. There's so much that I couldn't have reached at here without you guys. Stories for another day.
Thank you for all your support. You have been a big supporting, a solid support for Paws Trails as a team and me as a friend. I mean, for us as a friend. So thank you so much on a personal note and on behalf of our audience and on behalf of us. Thank you, dear.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care, guys.
You too.
Bye.
So that was
Now
our
we have,
Supreet, who's there now.
we have Cynthia.
Cynthia, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Cynthia. She is one of our editor for our online magazine, and we are working together for almost 4 years right now.
Wow.
And except this online meetings, we have never seen. That's the power of images. I think that is what it communicates. We work so closely. We don't know each other, but we are ready to do anything at any point of time for from within our ability to for a better future, for a better nature. So I'm leaving it to Cynthia. It's all yours.
No, thank you, Nish, for the introduction. And thank you, Hermis, also, for letting me be part of this exhibition and also for be part of Paws Trails. I am very proud to do part of this amazing project. So I am start introducing myself. I am from Argentina. I am an activist and conservationist. And also I am an artist. And within photography, I am specialized in macro photography. Yeah, and speaking about this picture, one day I saw a picture of this frog in social media, and I fell in love. And I told myself, I need to go there and I need to find them because I love the frog and I love this species because of its really, really big eyes. It's really funny. Yeah, it's amazing. So it was this way. I prepared myself to start an adventure alone with my camera through the forest of Ecuador. I went there. I was in the Choco Forest, one of the most diverse ecosystems in the world. And after several nights exploring the jungle, I was one night into the river. You know that in these kind of places, sometimes walking into the river is the best way to get deep into the jungle. So I was there at night in the water and I found them, and it was an amazing moment because my trip was, they are the responsible for my trip. So that night was a really nice night, and I was happy that I could find them and photograph them. So an amazing night. And I took the shot with my camera and my macro lens, and with a flash and a handmade diffuser. So that is the story behind the scene. So it's a responsibility of a big adventure, 1 month alone through Ecuador. So I'm happy I did that. Yeah.
People, once again, everybody can reach Cynthia on social media. She also conduct photography expeditions and workshops in that part of the world. So anyone who is interested in exploring that part of the area and want to be in touch with Cynthia for art as well as for photography, please do. Cynthia, once again, thanks, a big thanks.
Yeah, Cynthia is actually a great person who support us from that part of the world for last so many years without any.
It's an honor.
Anything we ask, she was always there for us. So thank you so much, Cynthia. Really appreciate it.
Thanks to you.
Thank you.
Both of you. Thank you a lot.
Now we have Supreet. Yeah, let me. Hi, Supreet.
Bird man, I don't have to give an introduction. You see his images, which will drive you crazy. I mean,
oh, wow. Wow. Nisha, thank you so much. You are very, very kind. And Hermis, the first time I'm meeting you online, so it's absolute pleasure to meet you guys here, So, you know what, I think this is a great segue because you just had me present right after Cynthia, and Cynthia gave a presentation about a frog from Ecuador. And guess what? My species is also from Ecuador because I literally live in this part of the world. So a little bit about myself, guys, before I start. So my name is Supreet Sahu. I was born and raised in India before I moved to the United States back in 2015. And we moved here for good. I've lived in Louisiana, I've lived in Canada, in Montreal, and now I'm settled in Austin. But to be honest, I spent all my time in South America, Ecuador, Colombia, Brazil, and also in Central America, Costa Rica, Panama, and Guatemala. But the image that we're going to talk about today is from the Amazon of Ecuador. And it is very close to my heart because it is something really, really interesting and special. These are scarlet macaws, very large parrots. And the reason why they come down and pose like this is because they need to eat clay. And the reason they need to eat clay is because they eat a lot of fruits in the forest, and the way nature has designed things, these fruits have a lot of toxins in them, right? So to neutralize the toxins, these parrots will have to come down and eat clay. Now, the way we do this is very special and very interesting. It's actually not a very easy trip. A lot of people, when they see pictures from the tropics, from the rainforests of South America, people think, oh, it's so easy because most of the people shoot at feeders. It's not the case, to be honest, it's not the case. Like for this picture alone, we had to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, 4:30, I would say. And we had to walk for around 30-35 minutes inside the rainforest, and then take a rowboat. And this, we're talking about piranha infested waters in the Ecuadorian Amazon. And then we take the rowboat, and then we walk for another 20-25 minutes, and then we take a motorboat for close to 15 to 20 minutes, and then we walk again inside the forest for another 20 minutes before we reach this spot. And we work very closely with the local communities, and these are the tribal communities. And this one in particular is called the Anyangu community. And what they've done is that they have found out these spots where these macaws and even parrots. I would say there are like close to 6 or 7 different species of parrots and 3 different species of macaws that come down to these clay lakes every single morning for the last so many years to drink water and to eat clay. And this is one such spot in Ecuador. This picture is very special to me because usually these macaws are very, very shy, right? And I don't remember. I've been there several times, and I don't remember a time when I saw more than 2 macaws at the same time. Because what they do is they will come around and they will hang on the trees, but they'll not all come down at the same time. Usually they don't, you know. But on this day, we had 15 macaws come down at the same time.
Oh,
you know, wow. Yeah, it was incredible. And what you have to understand is that these are really big birds, and I'm talking about from the head to the tip of the tail. We're talking about close to 5 feet, 4 to 5 feet tall. You know, so when so many birds come down, it is impossible to frame them because I'm sorry, I shoot with a 600, and to get all of those guys in the same frame, it's almost impossible. So it was very interesting. I had to walk all the way back. And what they have done, the community, what they've done is that now, because they can predict the behavior of the birds, they have built a sort of a hide, but it's not really a hide. It's a bird watching spot. So, and there are other people and other photographers also. So you always have to work your way to get some of these pictures. But this was really special because I've been there several times in the past, and I've never seen more than 2 or 3 at the same time. But seeing 15, it was very special, you know. And I remember sending another picture to Nisha, if I'm not wrong, which has the wide-angle view of how the actual lake looks like, you know. So it's really interesting. But yeah, this picture is very close to my heart, and so is the Amazon. Now, the Amazon flows through several countries in South America, and Ecuador is one of them. And I've been to the Amazon of Brazil and Ecuador, and they're both absolutely fantastic. But this happens only here in this part of the world, in the Ecuadorian Amazon and in the Peruvian Amazon. So yeah, that's my picture, guys, and that's my story. I really enjoyed that moment, and I really enjoy sharing it with you guys here.
And you were talking about the local people that they prepared hides and all. So how does this bring more value to their lives?
Well, so like a lot of these stories where we talk about the locals the tribes who live inside the forests, even these guys were hunters at some point, right? And the way they decided to stop that to help their own communities and save money and make money through their practices was to build things like these hides. And they have something called as a canopy tower inside the forest, where you climb 110 feet tower, and you can see birds on the top of the canopy. And these are birds that don't even come down. You only find them at the top of the canopy, you know. Okay. So basically, to answer your question, Hermis, it is mostly about tourism that brings them good revenues. And at the times of COVID and this disastrous time that we are all going through right now, most of these communities are completely out of business. Now, it's terrible. It's nothing that we could do anything about because there's no travel happening. And Ecuador, Peru, Brazil, Bolivia, all these countries are very, very badly hit with the coronavirus, you know, not just with the tourism, but also with the number of cases that they have in their countries right now. So yeah, it's very sad, depressing time. But I'm glad we're doing something like this to spread awareness, you know. So
exactly.
To you guys.
That's our intention.
On another note, Supreet conduct workshop in all these parts of the world, and you can reach him. You search for Supreet Sahu. He have a spectacular page with 100,000 plus followers on it, so you can imagine what kind of images he will be having. Anything, get in touch with us or get in touch directly with Supreet.
I think he got a website where all the information are there.
All the information are there.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you
so much.
Okay?
Thank you.
Cheers.
You too. Bye. Now we have Jayaprakash Bojan waiting for us. Let me add him.
Hi, Jay.
Hi.
Hi, Hermis, meeting you for the first time.
Yeah. How are you?
Good. I think the last time you came in any of my discussion was with Arbain.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you both for inviting me for this exhibition. Congratulations on yet another new initiative.
Thank you so much.
Back to back.
It will not happen without support from people like you. So okay, I definitely need to talk 2 words about you. Otherwise, it's really bad from my side. He's there are 2 different things. One is an amazing person, down to earth. Another thing is a spectacular photographer. So it's a combination of these 2, and he works a lot into conservation and the real work in spreading awareness. And more than that, even though he's a Nat Geo winner, he never showed any kind of attitude, not even once. You ask him for anything, he is always there. So I really appreciate all your support all this while. And we really, we're very happy to see people like you are doing so much work to spread awareness.
In fact, that's a rare kind of combination. A person who is down to earth.
Yes, person down to earth, photographer, and conservationist.
I don't know what to say. You guys, all I can say is you guys are too nice and too kind. As far as conservation is concerned, I think the very reason all of us photograph wildlife or do these stories is to share it with more and more people across the world. So for me personally, because everybody talks about attitude and stuff like that, but my policy has been very, very simple. Every opportunity I get to share a story with people, I just take it, because I think bottom line is that's what we have to do. It's as simple as that.
Exactly.
So big forums, small forums. I think I was telling Nisha yesterday, I think if our pictures, if it can even influence one person, it's still a win-win. It's really not about trying to get a massive audience all the time. So anyways, so I know you guys have a strict schedule.
Yeah, so let's go to your picture.
Okay, so I didn't pick this picture. I just want to let everybody know. I think I like this picture for some reason. She picked it, but I love this picture as well. One of my favorite macaques. There are only about 4,000 to 5,000 of these macaques alive in Indonesia. Historically, a lot of them have been killed for bushmeat, and as what's happening across the world, we've lost a lot of them because of habitat loss. But over the last 7 or 8 years, the population is slowly coming back because of primarily ecotourism. A lot of these poachers who used to kill these macaques have become tourist guides or eco guides, so which is a wonderful thing to see. This guy is special because he's an alpha male. I followed this guy and his family of 90 macaques for approximately 8 days, from like 6:30 in the morning till about 7:30 in the night, because every night we used to wait to see on which tree they would retire, so we know which tree to go back to the next morning. So usually my style of working is, if I'm working with a species, I just stick to that species for a really long duration, to see how I can get more unique images. This particular image, I got a lot of shots of this guy, but I was trying to see how I could get some unique images, different composition. So I think it's not a very complicated image. All I did was went behind to see if I could see those beautiful eyes between those leaves. I think for me, I love the color contrast. Black and green primary colors work really well. So the only problem with this guy is he hates eye contact. So it's every time he sees the camera, he'll move his eyes away. So this kind of worked for me because since I was behind the leaves, he really wasn't sure where I was. So it was an interesting image. That's pretty much.
I think those leaves made the frame more creative and
more creative. And that extending hands on top of
drama.
Yeah, so I think the way I approach my photography is usually I don't want to waste time taking pictures that have already been taken by hundreds of photographers. So usually if I'm approaching a new species, I go back and research to see the kind of work that's already been done on that species.
Yeah.
And then I start thinking about, how can I bring in a new perspective to the same species, or different angle to the same species. So that's pretty much my line of thinking when I approach some of my photography.
I think, is that the same species called the selfie monkey?
Yeah, I mean, these guys became very famous. I think very controversial as well. I'm not sure who won the case. I think the photographer won. No. I think the monkey won the case. That's why it became very famous. Yeah. I mean, well, it's a relatively easy species to photograph actually, because they're quite used to human beings. But an interesting incident was. This guy actually whacked me on my, he actually slapped me on my calf muscles. Because I spent so much time with them that they were so used to me, because literally from 7 in the morning to 7 in the night, I was just with them. I'm not sure if you've seen some images of these monkeys playing with my t-shirt from behind. They were actually pulling my t-shirts, those babies. Well, it's not necessarily a great example, but then I'm an open book. There's nothing to hide. So I think there was one instance where I was pretty close to a mother and baby. Unbelievable. This guy will wait for the entire troop to move, and he'll be the last person to move. And there are times when I've seen him go and tap mother and babies when it's time to move, because he ensures that the whole group moves together all the time. It's amazing to spend more time watching some of these species. Okay, so I know you have more participants. So look forward to whatever happening next, and I would love to be part of any of your initiatives in the future.
On that note, we have one more announcement. We have Jay coming on specifically to explain his journey with all of us, and so we will be announcing the date shortly, and it's going to be in August 22nd. That's what I think, if I'm not wrong. I'll reconfirm the date, and so thank you so much once again for.
Thank you, JP.
Thank you, Hermis. Thank you, guys. It's almost 12:30 in the night here, so good night.
Okay, good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night. So that was Jayaprakash, and as I said, an amazing photographer and a person.
We have Manu here.
Okay.
Let me add him. Manu, your mic is on mute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So Manu, once again, we had a session with Manu taking us through the macro photography with dewdrops just a couple of days ago. And now he's back again to explain with one of his favorite image, which won a lot of awards for him. So I'm giving it straight away to you. And
thank you, Nisha and Hermis, for giving me opportunity to exhibit my image along with the amazing photographers which I have been watching. That photo by Jayaprakash, the gorilla eye contact, that was amazing picture, and people like Gurcharan, Roopra and all. It's a great opportunity for me. And for me, let me introduce myself as a nature photographer. Nature lover more than nature photographer. But, I do a lot of macro photography, which is my favorite genre of photography. This particular image of the ants, this is called the black garden ants. The scientific name is Lasium niger. This is taken from a farm in Rasalkaima. Me and a couple of my friends who are also crazy with this macro photography, in every Friday, that is the holiday in UAE, where I'm located in Dubai. We used to go to Rasalkaima, drive almost 2 hours, 200 kilometers away, and go to a farm, and then we used to do our photography. This image is taken on a winter time when there are dewdrops covering the plants. And this particular image of the ants, I was searching for insects, like rather say beautiful insects like butterflies and all. Then winter time it's difficult to find them. And then I saw this plant with the ants moving around, and then spend I think at least 2 hours and probably take 300 photos with the ants. Then this particular 2 ants, they came, and like we people move around for the morning walk, then we see somebody, some of the friends, and we stop and have a conversation. It's exactly like that. they spend a few minutes in the same position, exchanging. Looks like exactly like they are in a deep conversation. So I took this photo, and but it is early morning light, maybe an hour after the sunrise, and there is no extra flash or anything used. It is the photo with the natural sunlight. And it's a favorite photo for me, and I have, as Nisha was saying, I have won some awards for this photo in many international saloons. And I'm happy that this image got exhibited in Paws Trails. That's it. Thank you, Nisha.
Thank you, Manu. So once
Thanks.
again, I'm one of the persons who were supporting Paws Trails as an organization, and he was always there as a friend. So thank you so much, Manu, for all your support. And as we always say, we need the maximum hands in this journey, because even if we connect one person from our circle, because we are talking to thousands of people now, because of social media. So every moment or every person in this journey matters. So we really appreciate all your support and your amazing collection of work, and you're without any hesitation for sharing it and finding time. So thank you so much, Manu.
Thank you. Manu. It's my pleasure to get associated with amazing people like Hermis and Nisha.
Thank you.
Now we have Nitin Michael waiting for us.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hello. It's good to see you all again.
Hello. So Nitin is, once again, we are starting with a small introduction. He's once again, you see, most of the people, all of the people are amazing photographers. And when it comes to him, he have traveled across the world, and he have some species which we haven't seen and we're still waiting for, and a great journey and a great friend and a great photographer. So
somebody who is very thirst for traveling and taking pictures.
When it comes to it's like, when is Mara opening? When can we go again? When is Sri Lanka opening? Let's do this now. So that's his enthusiasm when it comes to photography, and that's so great.
Yeah.
Where are you heading next?
Okay, so I don't know, where are you guys coming with me next? That's the question.
Yeah, Nitin is asking to me from last 1 month, saying August will go, September will go.
No, I think I mean, obviously I saw Guch in the Nairobi National Park, and then after that my background seems like the most boring background.
Not that you guys, almost everybody sets up Guch.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, firstly, thank you all. Thank you all for. I mean, you call me great, and then that's all nice. But really, I mean, I've seen all of your photographs. I've seen all the work of majority of the 20 photographers that are here, and I think almost all of them are fantastic photographers. A lot of them have, including yourselves, have inspired me more often than once to sort of go out into the wild and understand the species. Firstly, understand the need to photograph them better, and of course tell those stories so that a lot more people can sort of be part of your journey of conserving those species and conserving generally nature and wildlife. So yeah, I mean, thank you so much for letting me be part of this journey with you all.
It's a pleasure, dear. We need everybody. We need maximum hands. So, and people like you, definitely, that makes it more valuable.
Correct. The image, yes. Okay, this so this image, it's interesting. There are two photographers who sort of are sort of key for me to get this photograph. One is, of course, a while back, Guch was talking about his low-angle photography and the workshop that he's going to do. So obviously, that the whole style of taking photographs is basically presenting a whole new perspective of clicking or talking about these species, and of course the environment that they live in. So obviously, one of the reasons why I was very keen. I'm a big fan of big cat photography, and I really like to photograph the big cats. And after seeing Guj's photos, I wanted to get, I was very curious to see how a low angle shot of one of these big cats would look like. And so that's where the first photographer comes into picture. The second photographer is obviously Nisha, because Nisha was with me when I took this photograph. And it's fantastic to have either Nisha or Hermis in Mara, because both of them have tons of experience and knowledge about Mara in general. So having them with you in your Jeep is a tremendous value add. Yeah. So and that's the reason why I keep asking them, when are we going next? Because otherwise that journey is never, as amazing as it's supposed to be. Now, I'm sure Nisha and Hermis would agree with me that Masai Mara should be called Magical Mara, because every time you go there, there's some sort of magic that happens. You never come back disappointed. You never come back without seeing something that you'll hold on to for all your life. And this was one such moment for me. We were in the Jeep. It was past 3 p.m. This was in 2018 in November, and we were going back, and we saw, and obviously cheetahs live in the flat plains of Mara, and we saw this female. She was walking across the flat plains of Mara, and she was alone. She was fairly relaxed. And our guide said, why don't we give this your low angle photography trick a shot? So and the thing with cheetahs is they have their habit is to go on to termite mounds and look across it gives them, it's a sort of a vantage point for them to look out for predators and for other predators as potential threats as well as for prey. So we knew that this cheetah is definitely going to go on the mound and sort of look out for something. But at the same time, there were about half a dozen different mounds over there. So we weren't really sure which mound she was going to go on to, and it was obviously going to be a matter of luck. So I remember after the first two unsuccessful attempts, we decided, our guide said, hey, I think she's going to walk in a particular direction, so let's go forward and place the camera down on the ground over there on that mound. And then we waited, and I still remember Nisha was actually folding her hands and praying and muttering something in the background, saying, oh God, let this cheetah come here. And then it just happened, like I said, magic happens in Mara, and this cheetah actually walked up straight to that mound where the where the camera was placed. And she stood on the mound, she looked, and that's when we got this shot. She then sat down, we kept getting shots. She was very relaxed in spite of the shutter going, firing off. And she looked at the camera for barely a second and then just went off to sleep. In fact, she was so relaxed that she finally refused to move, and the camera died. The battery ran out, and we kept clicking. I don't know, we had goosebumps. I'm sure Nisha did too. And my wife was with me in the car. The guide was there. It was such a fantastic moment. I remember Hermis and there are a couple of other Jeeps came along. They looked at what we were doing, and sadly it was our camera there and everybody else was just looking. It was a fantastic moment. I don't know. I every time I see this, I'm talking to you and I still have goosebumps looking at this image. It was just fantastic. It was just one of those moments I can always, I can never forget.
Your expression after getting this.
I know. I know. I was in seventh heaven. I remember, and I still remember Nisha was like, oh my God, something she was saying, and it was fantastic. It was just something.
That's something which I always say. Nature is all about magic. You just need to believe in that magic, and you ask for something from the bottom of your heart. Most of the time that happens. That's the energy. I don't know. That's the energy. That is the nature. That is what we call magic.
Absolutely. And that's also a message that you guys have to be in the Jeep with me, that's a subliminal message that I'm sending out to you guys. But yeah, it's great fun. Yeah, thank you so much. Just so everyone knows that cheetahs, there are only about 300 cheetahs in the Mara, vis-a-vis every other big cat species that exists. I think lesser. I don't know. Maybe Hermis can correct me if I'm wrong. I think there are about
something in the world now.
Yeah. So those numbers are really dwindling, and conserving the cheetah and protecting this amazing species that can run so fast, and it's so looks so fantastic, is absolutely crucial. So I'm fingers crossed. I hope the species stays for the generations to come as well.
It's high time we think about that and we connect people more with nature and we live an eco-friendly life. So the whole effort for behind all these things, it's mainly to do only that. So within on that note, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Now we have our wonderful PT waiting for us.
The energy man.
Hi guys, how are you?
Hey. Good.
I'm so happy to see you. So where are you now?
I'm in central Pennsylvania. I'm stealing some internet from a friend who's I'm looking at after, and she's stuck in Italy. But I'm in the woods in central Pennsylvania, and it's just started raining, typically, of course. But that's okay. You get some of your best photographs in the rain.
Definitely.
In fact, rain is going to be one of the things I mention when I talk about my photograph as well.
Definitely.
What a wonderful, wonderful event this is. Gosh, I'm so gobsmacked by the quality of the photographs and some wonderful people, Cynthia, NAT and Athira. There's just, and Gooch. I want to be Gooch when I grow up. Really, really excellent people. And I think this whole increasing awareness is all about community photography. Let's get together. Let's use our photographs. Let's have a force for conservation. Let's change the world with our photographs. And you guys are doing it. And thank you to you.
Together we are doing it.
Thank you. And see, that's one thing I definitely want to say, Peter. Peter is a professor. He's a scientist. He's an award-winning humanitarian of the year. I mean, if I'm going to give it's a long list. I always think, the person who is in that level, how is he so down to earth and so much. He is so busy with his work, and he always tries to find time for us and support us. And it's all because of his love for nature and to do something to better this nature. On that note, he's an amazing photographer too. So let's take him to his picture and let him talk about it.
Thank you, Nisha. So I wonder how many of you know what this is. And I love this photograph. This photograph tells a huge story. This is a spirit bear. And if you look carefully, you'll see that it's a white mother with a black bear as a baby in there. And what I love about this photograph is it is actually set in the habitat. So you can see the leading line, the reflection, and as Hermis pulls back out again, you'll see I've got something in every corner, and you'll see what this habitat really is. And the habitat are the temperate rainforests of British Columbia. This is the only place that these bears, which are known as Commodity bears, actually exist. And one of the things I love about this photograph is it captures so many important issues about conservation. So it captures the issues to do with habitat loss. And, we know the majority of these bears, and there's certainly less than 100 of these white spirit bears left. There may well be less than 50 left. And these bears only exist because they're double recessive genetic color. So they have a change in their gene structure, which means that they can only do not express melanin. So they are a subspecies of the American black bear, but these subspecies, they have this special characteristic. What is more, these bears are incredibly important to the First Nations people, and particularly many of the First Nation tribes, such as the Kitasoo here. This bear, they believe, is the spirit of their ancestors. So it's immensely important to them. And the Kitasoo, amongst many of the other First Nations people, have really been suffering in recent years. And I saw the tragedy about how the tribes people leave their native lands and go to move into the bigger cities and go and live on the streets. They go away from their traditional lands. And now they're using this bear to try and conserve their culture. They are making money out of the eco photographers who go and take it there. So it's looking good, but the problem is that much of the place that the bears actually exist is threatened by logging and mining. So this picture to me encapsulates so many aspects. The aspects of habitat loss, this very special, beautiful habitat. It captures essence of hunting as well, because the Kitasu do not allow people to hunt on their lands, but there is still possible to go and hunt them for trophy hunting elsewhere. And yet there are so few of them that still exist. And it's so important to retain this habitat. And finally, of course, this fantastically interesting genetic diversity. We talk a lot about genetic diversity in conservation. Most people don't get it, because what it means is you've got to have connected populations. You want to keep the diversity of the animals there. But in this instance, we want to keep this really special population of bears separate from the other black bears, so they don't interbreed with them, and we can retain this beautiful and spectacular animal. Now, one final point I'm just going to make on that bear is, why does the white bear still exist? Well, that's open for debate, but there are information that shows that these bears are 30% better at catching salmon. And that's what that bear was doing in that photograph. Because they're white, the bears don't see the salmon don't see them when they swim under the bear, while with the black bear, they see them. And that's the hypothesis. And what we've been able to demonstrate is that they're 30% better at catching. So I like the image. I think it tells a story. I think the composition is great. And
black and white together.
Stimulates people to think about the story when they're taking their photos.
And the habitat, it's so beautiful. It's like definitely like a painting, and the reflection. So whether it is with the species or with the image quality or the habitat, you name it, everything is there. And thank you for the story.
It's a very, very difficult habitat to photograph in, because, you know, you're shooting at ISOs over 12,000, and I'm using the Sony A9 for this 200-600. And a lot of my photos, I didn't think I would be able to show because of it, because it is so dark. And you're trying to shoot a white bear next to a black bear. What do you expose for? Photographically, it really is very challenging. But now with Topaz denoise, you can take these very grainy photographs and really pull back the detail. So I'm finding it very exciting what we can do with this new software now.
Great. Thank you for that information too.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. So yeah, we are going to have Peter on and off and frequently. So thanks, Peter, for sharing this wonderful stories and the real science behind it. So that's the plus point of having someone with a science background as a conservation head for Paws Trails.
Now we have a wonderful couple, two amazing photographers waiting for us.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi. Long time. How are you, Hermis? How are you, Nisha?
Good.
Thank you. So that's Preeti and Prashant, and their page is called Compost in the Wild. Okay, so and if you see their page, you can definitely see how they compost in the wild. Such amazing photography. It's awesome, and thank you so much for all your support, and thank you for being here. And let's start with a small introduction and take you to the pictures.
Sure. Well, thank you very much to start off. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of this online exhibition among such great photographers. Yeah, so I'm Preeti. This is Prashant. And yeah, we have a handle Composing the Wild on Instagram. We are basically a hobby wildlife loving photography couple based in Dubai. And yeah, I think amateur photographers basically, but thanks for that intro. So the shot that we've chosen was from our first ever trip to a reserve in India, and we were quite excited because it was the Pench Tiger Reserve, and seeing a tiger was high on the agenda. Now, we as wildlife photographers do love to shoot anything and everything that come our way, but it had been a couple of days since we'd seen a tiger, and we had only a few more days left. So we were a little scared how it would go, till suddenly our guide got the call saying that a tiger was spotted.
And like anyone who's been on a safari when a big cat sighting's been announced, the rest of it is effectively a bit of a blur. So I think for the next 15-20 minutes, we were hurtling towards this scene. And because we were at the opposite end of the park, we were literally the last vehicle to come onto the sighting. And our guide effectively found the only last remaining spot that a vehicle could squeeze into, because it was like Mumbai at peak time traffic, literally, correct? And I'm sure many of you have experienced that, especially in India, but anyway, all over the world, I'm sure, for sightings like this. And the other thing was, our friends and family always ask us, why is it that both of us take photographs? Won't we always get the same shot? And invariably, what we realize is that even if we're photographing the same subject at the same time, we always end up with very different shots. Like, I was convinced that I wouldn't get a shot here, so I had actually moved to a wide angle lens and I was waiting for the tiger to cross us. And therefore, only Preeti got this photograph and I got nothing at all, because the tiger didn't cross the vehicle and go to the other side. And if you look at it from the way Preeti photographed it, she had a bit of zoom and she tried to go in a little tight. And what happened with us, quite luckily for us, was that this tiger got away from a bit of a watering hole, climbed up onto this man-made bank, correct? And just in that very brief period, a lot of things worked in our favor to help us frame her like this. The thing that worked in our favor was, behind her, the scenery was naturally a little bit darker because it was a little dense. Not as dark as this, obviously, but it was darker. And the bank actually was reflecting light back up onto the belly of the tiger. So it was just perfection for that probably 10-meter space. And Preeti managed to frame the tiger in that space. And we were really excited because it was our first tiger sighting. When we came back home and started looking at the photographs, and this is obviously the first one we looked at, and Preeti is the one who does the processing among the two of us. She did the photograph and we treated it in color and we looked back at it and we loved it. We loved the photograph, but we felt that something was missing. And both of us come from a school of thought that I think the photographs have got to move us emotionally in some way. We're more interested than documenting a memory. We're really interested in documenting how we felt when we saw that. And for us, the color photograph was really good, but it was more of a memory shot. The awe of seeing a tiger for the first time in the wild was not there for us when we saw the color photograph. And if I were to think back on my own experience in seeing a tiger for the first time, and it's probably true for any big wildlife for the first time, everything seems to stop, correct? You hear nothing, everything goes still, your heart stops, right? You don't hear the cars, you don't hear the shutters, you just see this magnificent creature walking past you. And we felt that we weren't able to get that feeling out in a conventional processing, correct? And it was just gnawing at us. So then Preeti kept experimenting with just, withdrawing the highlights a little bit more, amplifying amplifying certain highlights, darkening the shadows, etc., etc. And after a while, we started getting close to this kind of a look, and suddenly it felt like we were there again. Because for us, this was everything has stopped, and in nothingness, there's this amazing tiger, almost kind of artificially lit in a way, just walking in front of us, right? And so that's the impression we tried to create with the processing of this photograph, because it's evidently processing has a huge role to play in this photograph as much as the actual shot. And therefore, this photograph is also representative of just our approach to photography. We believe that post-processing probably gets a bit of a bad rep when it comes to photography, especially nature photography. We don't take things out or put things in. So the grass is there and the bank is there and the tiger was there. But aside of those things, we believe that it's always good to take a little bit of a creative liberty so that we can convey the emotion we felt rather than just show what we saw. Yeah, so that's a summary of this photograph. It's a truly memorable event in our safari careers, and also a truly memorable photograph for us.
We have a question from Chandrasekhar Sardesai on that. Where is the light coming on this tiger?
Where is the light coming? Light is coming roughly at, so if the tiger is facing 12 o'clock, correct? If the tiger's head is 12 o'clock, the light was roughly coming at 10 o'clock and bouncing off.
It was
so
like
10 o'clock and oblique. So it was around 5:30 in the evening.
Low,
so
light was going down fast, so we got there just in time. I mean, I managed to get only about 2 shots. One was this, the other was half the tiger. So as you know, wildlife photography is also sometimes a little bit of luck.
Correct. And I was looking somewhere else. So
that's happened to me in other shots. Sometimes he wins, sometimes he wins, sometimes I win it. So between us, we managed to get some shots.
That's great. That's great. It's an awesome shot and then nicely processed too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So Compost in the Wild, anybody checking for their work, it's amazing. I mean, most of their work, as they mentioned, it's all, most of it is in black and white, and I'm a big fan. So thank you, Preeti and Prashant, for this support. And we are going to come up with a series just focusing on their journey. So we'll keep you posted. On that note, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very
See
much.
you. Bye.
So who do we have next?
Now we have, I think, Surendran. We have Vinod with us.
Okay.
I'm adding Vinod now.
Okay. Hello.
You're mute.
You're mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
How are you doing, guys?
Good, great. Thank you. How are you? I'm in this
after a long time.
Exactly. Staying very close to each other, but seeing after a long time, right? No, thank you very much for inviting me on the show, Hermis and Nisha. Really, it's a pleasure, seeing all these pictures. It's just wonderful to see, the kind of artists people are.
It's, we all belong to the same category. So it's a journey together. It's people and their willingness to connect with nature. So we need, more people, more stories, more kindness towards nature and towards each other.
Definitely. Completely agree on that.
Let me open your image.
Thank you, Amith. So just to give a little bit of intro about my side, I am a budding wildlife photographer. I started my journey with the first Paws Trails journey to Kenya. And I was lucky to have both Nisha and Hermis on my side. And the fantastic fact was that these guys give a one-on-one training to you directly when you're in this position, right? And this kick-started my wildlife journey, I should say. From there on, I think we've gone together for various places, various locations. And each time, the beauty of wildlife just strikes me, right? Now, the reason for this picture, again, is 2 things that Hermis and Nisha always tells, right? One is do not expect action shots every time you go to nature. Don't expect every time actions to happen. Always be careful of the moments. Now, why? Because, this was taken in South Africa in Kruger, and one day I was returning back after not having too many great shots. But right in middle of this park was the site, where a single zebra just drinking water. Just thought, it's a good frame for him, because never seen this in during the hot time in South Africa. Getting in a place like this is very hard. So I spent time trying to frame this, trying to get a good shot from here. And then came in the second fact that Nisha and Hermis always says, the moment that you miss, the zebra just turned around and started running towards me. So in that freeze of a moment, I took the shot. I was able to capture the zebra running towards me. But what happened was I didn't look at the frame. So that moment completely lost, right? But again, these kind of moments and these kind of facts, right, always makes you feel to go to these places, always keep on going to them always, right? And I think that's the magic of nature. And this particular image, as you guys can see, is one of the facts that you don't have to be always, you have to keep on looking always in the nature, and you will always get some kind of shots available. And that's why I thought this picture would be good to share.
Thank you. Thank you, Vinod. And I mean, as he mentioned, every species matters. It's not just the big cats always. Even if it is a mosquito, it's taken beautifully, that's worth. And every species got its own role in playing in nature. And that's, again, a well-composed image. It shows the habitat and it shows the behavior. So, awesome image. And really, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for participating again, Vinod.
No, thank you very much, guys, for calling.
It's a journey together.
Okay.
Do we have anyone else in the queue?
We have Surendran waiting for us.
Great. Hello.
Hi, Nisha.
So this is Surendran, and once again, I feel odd kind of repeating the same sentence over and over and over again. But
okay, I will say a great well-wisher of Paws Trails, a great friend, I would say a good advisor, and a great photographer.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. You guys been very kind on this. Nisha, as you rightly mentioned, so many people wants to work closely with you, and you've been thankful to them, mainly because it's not only for the individual. I think what you show to them, it's not one person. Everyone being with you throughout this journey, just because the way you people treated them, or the way you appreciated their work, you worked, collaborated with them. So that can be the reason, not only the individuals. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And on that note, there are certain photos which makes us feel a bit jealous. So this is one of his collection, which I always feel, I wish I was there too.
Yeah, I know. It's something very, very special for me, because it was shot in 2018 August. I have seen this species before once or twice, taken some images. So for me, I'm more of species hunter than a photographer. That's how I see myself. So early morning, 5:45, when we immediately left our resort, the driver received a call and he started driving as if there is no tomorrow. So I asked him what happened. John said, yeah, we got a serval cat and someone called me. I said, okay, got equally excited. When we went to that place after 15-20 minutes, we couldn't find it in the same spot. As we started looking around in the ridge, between a thicket, we saw a movement. John said, yeah, serval cat here. As we positioned our car, it was like a dream. Between the thicket, one small opening possibly can accommodate 2 photographers' lens. When we saw a beautiful place. Deep inside the thicket, a mother and just one kitten. What makes it more beautiful is, as you can see those yellow lights here, between these thickets, the sun was rising and the rays were passing through the thicket towards the cat. The interesting part about this picture for me is not just the image, because for me it was a struggle. I had 600 with me. Between that subject and myself, I couldn't pull out from that space because it's a very small opening. It was a challenging for me because frame to frame I was spraying, both comes into one frame. But beyond all those challenges, it's like peeping inside a elusive cat, a secret home, where mother was completely comfortable and the kitten was playing. And what made it more interesting for me is the mother was playing a multiple role within that space. She was trying to teach the kitten how to climb a tree. She climbed up and she wanted the kitten to climb. When the kitten tried to climb, she gave a small nudge behind her back so that it can climb. And she played a multiple role there as a teacher, a mother, a playmate, because these 2 souls were playing as if there is no tomorrow. completely felt secured because I seen this cat in other places, either on a hunt or looking curious or looking worried. Being one of the smallest cat, when it walked through those grasses, it wants to move away. Over here, they just felt so comfortable. They want to just play. And mother was teaching the kitten, playing with it, as well as bringing some discipline when the kitten went all around, snapping straight onto her head. Emotionally, it was a journey. It's like me seeing a secret life of a elusive cat. Out of the 15-20 minutes, I possibly clicked 25 shots. That's it. 25 shots, nothing more, nothing less, because Hermis knows about it. The rest of the time, I just sat there. I enjoyed it because I couldn't take my eyes off. I was not comfortable seeing through my viewfinder such a beautiful stuff happening. And as a photographer, we always chase a species not because we want to see it. We want a better picture. We want to get this angle. We want the light. For me, after seeing that experience, personally, that species is done for me. I can possibly see it jumping, hunting, chasing. But that personal moment of mom teaching a kitten, preparing for the big dangerous world in Mara, is some very key special moment for me. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less for me. So this is the reflection of what I experienced here. And thank you, Paws Trails, for exhibiting this image for me. Thank you very much.
In fact, this is, I mean, we have 2 online magazines. So one magazine is focusing only on certain species. So each edition, when we come up with, there was an edition a couple of months ago focusing on several cat, and this was the cover shot of the magazine. So if you check Paws Trails website and magazine, you can see the whole article with more science side of it, more conservation side of it, and some spectacular imagery from across the world. But this is, and see that kitten and see the features, it's like, you get that goosebumps. Thank you so much for this support.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very
We
much.
have a question before you go.
Yeah.
What are the ethics that you keep in wildlife photography?
See, guys, for me, it's very, very simple, right? The more you know about the subject or a species, you know what they go through.
Yeah.
As a photographer, there is always a wish, and sometimes it kicks into a greed. And I try to manage that part. Like, wish is one thing which I want. I don't want to move into the greed for simple reason. The moment you start going closer, the moment you start doing things for photography point of view, consciously or subconsciously, or without even knowing the damage what we are doing that damage. And I'm one guy where I take a lot of pictures, but I hate posting it for one simple reason. I don't want someone to see, I need this picture and I want to make it better. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we're living in UAE where wildlife is completely limited. The place where I go can be next to a main road, or it can be next to a farm. The species is surviving because no one believes it's there in some cases.
Right.
The moment you put this image, photographers might want to go, or someone wants to see why it's there or how it's there. So that's why I keep my ethics simple and straightforward. Anything you see, take a shot. If you can't take a shot, move off. I'm not trying to have a rat race against any other photographer, because I'm a species hunter. Today, I use photographs as a medium to reach out closer, because as I got older, I can't see things in front of me. I use my 600mm to see that image closer. That's it. Nothing more. So in that process, I photograph. So that's how I manage. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Do we have anyone else?
No.
So we have a list of couple more photographers are a part of this particular show. Unfortunately, some of them are some of them are down with fever. A couple of them have urgent meetings, which was not planned. I hope there are 2 of them who are down with fever, and I really hope it is not COVID and it's simple fever, and they will, get back soon. So whom are we starting with, Hari or Gopal? Or
let me check.
So we got 22 photographers and 22 photographs in this particular show. So you have seen all the yeah. So this is Amith.
Yeah.
Again, Amith is a budding photographer, is a great friend, and
a Paws Tales member. He's also a Paws Tales member.
He's also a Paws Trails member. So this is from Masai Mara, and he was so thrilled to be a part of this journey. And this was from the very first day. And we spotted this elephant, a herd of elephant, and because I was with him in this particular journey, I can really memorize this. And he was like, he called me sister, so he was like, out of words when he finished shooting, and he was very excited. I wish he was here to put this together from his own perspective. So this is a magical Mara memory, if I should say, from a first time visitor with a mother and a young one in a beautiful evening.
And out of that 6 days trip, this was his favorite picture, he said.
Yes. So that was from Amith, Krish.
This is from Fayyaz. Again, a very good friend, great human, great photographer. This is taken from the Dubai desert. I think the location is somewhere in Al Qudra. And it's Pharaoh eagle owl. These are the 3 chicks. It was sighted, I don't know when it was sighted, but it was there near Al Qudra desert.
I would like to add 2 lines on this this image, because I was in the UAE for last 11 years. I always wanted to see a owl, but I tried many times my luck, so you can understand how difficult it is. And in last 11 years, I never saw one. Now, including Hermis, everybody is seeing, like, all our circle people are kind of seeing this one or the Lilith or little owl. So I'm very happy to see that more and more photographers are able to see this beauty and able to share this, because when you say Dubai, you usually see only tall buildings, and there are 420 plus bird species in UAE, migratory and local. Yeah. This is one photographer. I should say we are going to have a session. This is from Gopal. He's not well. He's down with fever. So he shared the image and he said he's not in a condition to talk. But see the image. He is going to do a talk only focusing on hunting sequence from lions and leopards and cheetahs. So I don't know how to express how I feel when I saw this image. We have a write-up from his side, and Hermis, you can share that. Photographing cheetah in action and getting a moment like this is always difficult. You need to have that ability to keep your focus and keep the tracking. Your experience, and he is a killer. What do you say? Expert in taking hunting shots.
Let me.
And here, even in such an action, you can see the eyes, including the whiskers. In usual case itself, getting the whiskers off a cheetah is difficult, and this one is kind of coming straight to you, or on air, and it looks like a cricket ball or some ball coming straight onto your face.
Okay, let's go to the next pic. This is a Himalayan blue sheep by one of the very well-known travel photographer from India, Menon.
A beautiful light.
Yeah.
Hari is not feeling well, and it's not COVID. He got a pretty severe sinus infection, so he's not in a position to talk. That's the reason we are going through the image. If you look for Hari Menon in his in social media, you can see he's an amazing travel photographer with a great collection. Hermi, you have a write-up on this. Can you please just...
1 second.
And the backlight is the beauty over here with the, and what I remember from his explanation, they kind of jump from one peak to other, and
he took this picture on his way to Korzok Monastery, which is close to the beautiful Somoreri Lake. On the way, he got to see many other species like Himalayan marmot, Ladakh pika, Tibetan wild ass, and a lot of these Himalayan sheep jumping on top of the mountains. This was clicked on a harsh afternoon light, but in Ladakh, everything looks beautiful in any light. That's what he says about this image.
It's a beautiful image for sure.
Yeah. And I would like to read what Krishnan says about his picture. This was taken in Masai Mara in February 2019. This was my last day of the 3 weeks stay, and naturally I was very eager to bag as many good images as possible, especially since I had to be focused on getting a lion hunt and had spent most of my time with lions and with no really good image of a lion hunt in the memory card. I was quite frustrated that morning. It was then we spotted this cheetah, which was running herself near a salt pit. Many other photographers also joined us soon. As the cheetah rolled over, stretched and yawned in the early morning golden light, she looked thin, and we decided to spend the day with her, as we were sure that she would hunt that day. In a few minutes' time, we saw a large group of impalas making their way to the salt pit. Me and my guide Anthony immediately went around the salt pit to get the best vantage point to shoot the hunt if it happened. Initially, the cheetah went behind a patch of trees so as not to alarm the impalas. We had enough time to position ourselves, and the other photographers also joined the fray, each looking for a place to park and watch the hunt. The cheetah started carefully moving towards the impalas and going by the direction of the cheetah's movement, and also the terrain we expected was a very long chase, which should happen far from us. Since the cheetah had already started inching her way to impalas, we did not have any more time to change our position, and as there were too many vehicles all around us, we did not want to get in their way and decided to stay out. There was a croton bush few meters in front of our vehicle, but we did not bother much about that as we expected the chase and the hunt to happen in a different direction. I had already mounted my 600mm lens on a crop frame D500 to get a reach of 900mm so that the predator and prey will be tightly framed during the hunt. Everything went as predicted and the chase began. I was following the cheetah through the viewfinder as it ran after its prey in exactly the same direction, but all of a sudden the cheetah stopped and turned a full 90 degree and started running at its fastest towards us, targeting a group of impalas who had scattered from the main herd and were running full stream towards us. I got the shot of the cheetah fully focused on its prey, and the next shot I got was that of the cheetah and the head of its prey, which was a young impala, which was just entering the frame. The 900mm reach was too much since the cheetah and its prey were too close to us by then. And helplessly, I wanted the cheetah leap on the prey right behind the bush, which we had ignored when we parked our vehicle. It was total disappointment for me, and more so when some amazing photographers who had parked a few meters behind us got the whole sequence of this hunt, where the cheetah had grabbed its prey mid-air, totally upside down, and brought it to the ground. This was an amazing moment and truly a lifetime shot. Anthony's son, who was in the front seat of the vehicle, and he had my D4 mounted with a 200-400 mm lens, and he got the whole sequence of the hunt by the final leap, and the flip of cheetah was hidden by the same bush. All of us were heartbroken, and needless to say, we did not even talk for a very long time. And he says, moral of the story, overconfidence never works in wildlife photography. Always check for and avoid obstructions to your field of view, even when you don't expect things to happen in that direction. When using a long lens, always keep a shorter lens near yourself as an insurance. All predictions with regard to the wildlife are subject to failure at some point of time. So have a backup plan and ready just in case things like this happens. That's what he has to say about this picture.
Yeah, I can imagine the disappointment, but seeing something and getting a shot like this, definitely it's worth, I totally agree on the disappointment part. I can imagine myself being in this.
Every wildlife photographer must have gone through this phase one or the other time.
But GKP or Gopal, it's an amazing shot, and within the time frame what you got, you have done a spectacular job. Like always, you're a hunting expert. And see that is the beauty of it. Every part of it is in focus. It's a fabulous image. So GK is going to do a session for us again, specifically focusing on hunting images, hunting shots. So I shall keep you posted with that. This is from Nair Shankar. He's an amazing photographer, specifically focusing on astro as well as on landscapes. Nair was supposed to be with us, but he's stuck in some forest in between some shoots, and he said he don't have internet accessibility today. So I'm just going through it. I don't have much experience to talk about this. Neither I got any information on this particular shot. So soon we get it. We shall share it in social.
It's already, the informations are already on the exhibition.
Okay.
Which the link we'll be sharing in some time.
Okay. So
So next
is Shams.
Arabian horn viper.
I'm a bit scared about snakes, especially the stories which we hear about this particular species is again a little more scary. But when I saw this particular picture for the first time in my life, I was head over heels in love with the shot. Do we have a note from Sham on this, Hermis?
Not yet. He said it's photographed from the White Desert. That's all we have.
Okay, so this is a beauty. It's a deadly beauty. In fact, one of the most venomous snake, and it's though it looks quite big in the picture, it is a small one. And Sham is an expert in handling snakes too, so he have done a fabulous job over here. And thank you, Sham. Thanks a lot for sharing this image, and we hope to see you next time in the show, sharing your experience through your words.
Yeah. This is Arabian red fox pup, photographed by Vipin Sharma, and he says, a project that I was working for 2 years, following this family right from the born of pup to raise and then leaving for their respective territories. Using their poop urine scent to make them attract towards my camera trap and make them comfortable with my camera was the key to success. And he took this picture with a Tokino 11 to 16 mm lens and used a Canon 7D body. Another beautiful. Trap cameras are always beautiful.
And again, see the kind of time people are investing. It's not like I'm sure Vipin started his journey as a photographer years ago, and spending with one particular species and one particular technique for 2 years plus is big. That's when you have rewards like images like this. So Vipin, thank you so much for sharing this image, and we really appreciate your support. We are going to have Vipin in one of our shows explaining his technique on trap camera photography.
Yeah.
So what's the next one?
I think this is the last we have got.
How about your story? Yeah, so the next one is going to be by Hermis and his image.
Yeah, let me check.
Yeah, this is the problem with Hermis. He always forget about his images. He keep all his images in his hard disk most of the time. It's very difficult to make him post images. In fact, he's very busy with work. That's the main reason.
So now let's talk about this.
Okay, this is not Hermes images. This is my image. The species. I mean, it's a leopard. See, as we always say, I live in my dream. So whenever I am in Mara, we'll be thinking about one or the other species, and I'll tell John. John is our guide over there, and he's a best buddy. I say our best buddy in Mara. So I always say, imagine, John, if we see this, then John know that this is going to happen in 90% of the time. So when we saw this beautiful light on a particular evening, all I was thinking about was, I've seen cheetahs in backlight, lions in backlight, serval cats in backlight, but never a leopard. So whenever I talk about this, John was always like, it's difficult. Finding a leopard itself is difficult. So finding it with a backlight, it is even more difficult. But no matter what, this is what happened on that same day. The leopard is called as Sabah. She is quite bold one. Mara is known for certain female leopards who are not that shy, and they can give you amazing sequence of images. So she was even hungry, I believe, and she tried for 2 hunting attempts, but it was failed. What I love over here is the play of light, the total outline, and you see the grass blades. And if you can just zoom in to especially near the mouth area, you can see the play of light over here on the grass blades and those flowers. So, and this was in last year's BBC Wildlife, not BBC, Natural History Wildlife Photographer of the Year. That it was in the finalist. It was in the second round, so it was a very close to heart image for me. So it's Sabah. And from Masai Mara, thanks to Joni, my best buddy from Masai Mara. He is an amazing guide, and more than anything, when you are in the wild, what work is your connection, is your soul's connection with nature and the magic. You need to believe in that magic. So thank you. Your turn.
Somebody's asking. I missed a beat. Somebody's saying actually, and you got a lot of comment for that. Great big rim light.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of rim lights. I love to play with light. So,
okay, now let me take my picture.
Oh, what a beauty!
This was photographed, I think 2019 August. Yeah, I made a trip with one of my friend. It was again in Masai Mara, and that whole trip I got a lot of amazing photographs, I should say. Again, our friend John helped me as always to get some excellent photographs. His vehicle placement, everything was perfect. And whenever some action or some sighting happens, he'll be the first person to reach there. That's the great advantage. And that trip, I got to see a pride of lions with 11 cubs, small, very tiny. Then leopard with cub, leopard taking the cub in the mouth and walking towards me. I got a lot of shots. And this particular image, I think it's Bhati or Bhati's daughter, I don't remember. She had a kill on another tree, and she kept the kill there, and she came down. Then she came up to this tree, and she was sitting peacefully on this tree and watching her kill on the other tree. And we were expecting this particular leopard to come down, so that we'll get a climbing down shot, and we were parked our vehicle accordingly to get a good position, to get a good frame. And that's when I took my 70-200 mm and tried to get some wide shots with everyone was waiting. And very late evening, she got down, and almost all the jeep, all the vehicles left by that time. So she thought it's a good time to come down. So she came. She literally stood up on this tree, that branch, and she walked on that. The whole series I got. She walked down from that. She jumped to another branch. Then again, she literally came down, and then she walked all the way to the other tree, and she went up. The whole series I got in that. So it was a great evening and a great trip as well. Yeah, that's my picture. Yeah. So this is all about our gallery. And so, Nisha, we have to announce the...
This is our plan. We are going to have one such exhibition every month. This time we got all the images from our side, but next time onwards we are going to give a call for entry. So if you would like to be a part of it, please, we will be sending a note on our social media in Paws Trails handle as well as our personal handles. So please send us all your images, and the selected 20 images will be going for the next show. That's one thing. And the second thing, we are going to have an online review, which again is going to give a call for entry. You can send your images, and we will be selecting two people, right? 2 candidates, and who will be present with us in the studio. Online, and we will give our opinion. And it's all about sharing what you think, your experience, as well as putting our input into that. So if you are interested in being a part of that, we will be sending a poster or an advertisement on this tomorrow, and you can check that and get back to us. The whole idea behind any of these projects are going to spread awareness, learn together, teach what we can, and let's do our part to make this world a better place to live.
And now it's the time to inaugurate our digital exhibition. Before that, I'll share a video which will help you to see what we have done, and then after that we will share the link where you can go and visit by yourself. Let me again share my screen.
Thank you. That was a great video again. So this is in our, we are going to share the link in our social media handles, and it's already there in our website. You need to go to pawstrails.com under take action in exhibition. You can see the link. And do we have any questions? So I would personally like to thank every photographer. I mean, we had around 22 photographers, including both of us. So 20 amazing photographers for their time and for their images, for sharing with us, and for everybody who is watching this now, for all your support. And I really hope you have got some message from this and which touched your heart in some way. We want you to spread this message. We want you to share this with, if you think it is a good initiative, please share this among your friends, among your family. Everything starts from us. I mean, everything starts from each individual. So we need all your support. The maximum support we get is what we can reach to more people.
Yeah.
Do we have any question and answer, or it's
today? There's no much questions, but
that's great. Because now it's almost 2 hours.
Yeah. So everyone who want to view this exhibition, they can go to our website, which is pawstrails.com, pawstrails.com, and okay, I think I can share that window as well, so that people will be able to understand
where to find it.
Yeah.
And we are going to share the same in our social media handles too in some time. So this is our website. You have the 5th.
Yeah, so we have the take action. Under take action, we have exhibition. So exhibitions, if you click on exhibitions, you go down and you can see the nature trails. It's the last exhibition. Like
this is our the last on the list, and the first of our digital exhibition.
And
it's very simple.
So just walk around and you will see. You can use the arrows.
And you have an option to go full screen too.
Yeah.
Which gives a better feel about the pictures.
Okay.
All right. So once again, we thank you all for all your support, all the amazing photographers, all the viewers who are watching this, and we need all your support. Watch our channel, subscribe to our channel, share among your friends. And if you would like to be a part of our exhibitions, if you want us to review your images, if you want your images to be published in the magazine, so all these things what we are doing, we are keeping everything for free, mainly because we want to spread this message to the maximum number of people. That's the only thing what we can do at this point of time. It's all about sharing and caring. Let's do this together. Let's make whatever we can do to make this place a better place. You know, just forget our ego and let's do a life which is more of share and care.
Yeah, true.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. We'll meet soon with another wonderful session.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.